So I was at my uncle's the other day, and he watches nothing but old Western movies, shows, spaghetti westerns, like black and white type shit. And every now and then they're in color, but real OG is not one to be up to date with the newest show on Netflix or Disney Plus or HBO Plus, whatever the fucks. And in a way, I'm pretty much in the same light as far as being up to speed or up to date with season 4 of this new show on, Netflix, or this new show that's coming out on HBO Plus. Check it out. And I've had a few close friends and family like, here's my account. You can log in whenever you want. Watch this one show. I think you'd really like it. And I always say that I am, and I never do. Um, I'm just not up to date, up to speed with what's going on in the year 2021 when it comes to HBO Plus and Netflix and that whole culture of being up to date with what's going on or what's trending or whatever. I really don't care. Um, no, I just don't. I'm 100% disconnected from all that Netflix culture stuff. I don't. I'm a grandpa. I am my own grandpa. It sounds funny, I know, but it really is so. I'm my own grandpa. But I'll explain that in another video. But the main point of this video is, so I'm watching some old black and white spaghetti western shows. That's what he loves watching. And I just got into it. I was getting into this episode. I forgot what it was called or what. But it was on Stars, cable television. I know cable television is like, what? You still pay for cable? Through 2021, brother. Get with the program, bitch. But so it's on Stars, and it's like 6 o'clock. It's like 6, 7 o'clock. This one show finishes, and the movie starts. And I'm like, I'm just gonna get into this for whatever reason. I'm gonna give it the old college try. And it was a film called um, 100 Rifles with Burt Reynolds and Jim Brown. Uh, was released in 1969, I believe. Um, I always forget that not only was Jim Brown one of the most amazing, tough son of a bitches, you know, in football. Well, I forget that Jim Brown, the fullback, running back, whatever you want to call it. I forget that Jim Brown, once he retired from the NFL with the Cleveland Browns, I forget that he went into acting. And while the movie's starting, it's like Burt Reynolds, Jim Brown, and I was like, Jim Brown. And I look it up, and I'm like, holy shit! I always forget that that's real. Like the legendary Jim Brown made movies after he retired from the NFL. I always like when my brain goes there, I'm like, my brain is fucking with my brain, saying, dude, why are you making shit up? What the fuck are you talking about? Someone slipped some acid in your fucking chili, or what the fuck? What are you talking about? And then look it up, and I'm like, oh yeah, that is real. That is on the timeline, on the tracks of 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. NFL films, NFL fullback, running back, retires. The legendary Jim Brown. He made movies. Yes, that's real. Um, and the movie was actually pretty good. I didn't get to see the whole thing. I saw like the first hour, and it was cool. Jim Brown was actually a pretty decent actor, being that he used to be an NFL running back. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at, the the main reason I'm making this video, before the movie started, this is on Stars, um, Stars Western Classics on fucking Direct TV or whatever the fuck. But before the movie starts, it gives you a little column of warning. Not warnings, but it's letting you know, oh, this film is rated R, L for language, an N for nudity, and you get, movies have that. They're letting you know what you're getting yourself into, whatever the fuck. And there was one in that column that freaked me out, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "What? That's real? That's a thing?" Because you don't want to shatter anybody's feels, so you have to let them know before the movie starts what they're getting themselves into. And you got N for nudity, nudity. You got N for nudity, L for language, and there was one that said OC. And what does OC stand for, you might ask? Hell, I was asking myself. I was like, OC, what the fuck does that mean? And OC stands for outdated cultural depictions. Um, and I was like, what? This is a movie. This is a Western movie. It's a Western drama with cowboys and fucking Indians and black people and Mexicans. And the whole plot is like they want to find out they're hanging. The film starts with people in Mexico. The setting is in Mexico, and it starts with like the Mexican police. They're hanging Indians by the throat and snapping their necks on top of a tree. They're hanging Indians on trees because they want to know who's supplying, who's bringing in all these rifles and giving them to the outlaws or the rebels, kind of thing. So the Mexican, not the Mexican cartel, but the Mexican police, that's the right term, whatever the fuck the term may be. Um, the Mexican police are hanging Indians and snapping their necks at the end of a noose because they want to know who the fuck is supplying, who's bringing in these rifles and supplying them to the rebels and stuff like that. And there's black people, there's Mexicans, you got your slapsticky Mexican farmer, and it just, yeah. But if you're watching a film that's trying to let you know what life was like, you know, during World War One and all that type of shit. So during World War One in Mexico, that's some deep shit. There's a lot of history there. There's a lot of history that you won't find in history books. You really, really have to dig deep for that shit. Not that I'm a fucking history major or a history expert, but yeah, I I was befuddled that before a movie starts, An old Western drama. It has to let you know it's OC. It's outdated cultural depictions. Okay? There's outdated cultural depictions in this picture. Okay? So don't write us emails saying, why didn't you let me know in advance? This fucking movie fucking offended the fuck out of me and my feels. But, and then Google has all these like, has all the answers to your questions. How fucking convenient. And it's one of them is, what does outdated cultural depictions mean? Well, son, it may contain outdated cultural depictions. The warning reads after each and before film's plot description, referring to triggering elements that are culturally insensitive. That's what Google's saying. That's Google's answer. What does outdated cultural depictions mean? It may contain outdated cultural depictions. The warning reads before and after each film's plot description, referring to triggering elements that are culturally insensitive. So retarded. And then these questions, it opens up a can of worms. It's like, who the fuck is writing this shit when it comes to fucking Google? Like seriously, like who the fuck writes this shit? Like you type in a question, right, and then Google. You type in a question, and fucking Google gives you like a fucking. By the way, here's like 10 related questions. You might find an answer that you're trying to find. So just because I want to know what OC stands for, or OCD, OCD, honk honk, OC, outdated cultural depictions. It gives me like all these other. It goes on. It opens up this huge can of worms. People also ask, and you're not gonna. This is so retarded. The third question underneath, what is outdated cultural depictions? The first question is, what does outdated cultural depictions mean? The second question is, what is cultural depiction? The third question is, are you ready? Are you ready? Sit down. Lock yourself in your chair. Or if you're laying in bed on your smartphone at 4 in the morning because you have no fucking life. Whatever it may be. Um, Lock yourselves in because this is the third question on fucking Google servers. Again, who the fuck writes this shit? It's fucking retarded. This is the third question. I'm not fucking around. Why did Dumbo get banned from Disney Plus? Oh, I wish I was lying. I wish I was fucking lying. I was gonna print screen it and then put it on. I don't want to go through. I don't want to edit shit. But for real, fucking retarded. Fucking clown world is real, bitch. Clown world is very real, and this is Google's answer. Because people may ask if you're asking about a fucking Western drama made in 1969 with Burt Reynolds and Jim Brown. It gives you, what does cultural depiction mean? What does outdated cultural depictions mean? And the third question that people also ask, why did Dumbo get banned from Disney Plus? This is their answer. This is Google's answer. Again, who the fuck writes this shit? God only knows. Probably the devil his fucking self. The devil him fucking self writes this bullshit. This is Google's answer. Disney Plus has restricted access to some of its older titles for children, citing negative stereotypes in such films as Dumbo and Peter Pan. Dumbo, Peter Pan, the Aristocats, not the aristocrats, the Aristocats, Swiss Family Robinson, Lady and the Tramp, and The Jungle Book are not accessible through kids' profiles with the parental controls switched on. retarded. Why did Dumbo get banned? You can't make this shit up. Y'all think I'm trolling? I'm not. I'm not fucking trolling. And it keeps on going. The fourth question, they're all like top to bottom. I'm reading them from top to bottom. The fourth question, people also ask, why does Disney's Aladdin have a warning? The fifth question, what are tobacco depictions? What do they have to do with anything? Fucking Dumbo? Don't call me Dumbo! That hurts my feelings! I'm just like you. I just want to be loved. Don't call me Dumbo. Don't even know. Do you know my IQ? No. Well, then you can't call me Dumbo. I'm going to identify as a giraffe now. Because giraffes are tall and strong and smart. I'm not a Dumbo, bitch. You know another thing about this whole kids can't watch Dumbo and Peter Pan without their parents switching on the parental advisory or whatever the fuck. Another thing I've always found creepy, and it gets creepier and creepier as time goes on, is when you're uploading a video on YouTube. One of the first things it asks you is this video suitable for kids? Or is this video suitable for children? It's not saying 18 and under. It's not saying for teenagers. It doesn't say young adults or minors. No. It just goes flat out and it tells you. One of the first questions that pop up when you're uploading a video to YouTube for a few years now. One of the first things it asks is this video suitable for kids? You have to check yes or no. And I've always thought that was really creepy. Like, I don't know. Like, it just seems creepy as fuck. And one could say, oh, well, they're just doing it to protect the children. They're doing it because they don't want a 4-year-old seeing the Mexican cartel chop off somebody's head, or they don't want your 4-year-old seeing whatever. But YouTube can play it off as that's why they're doing it, but it feels like there's something more to that. I don't know. Not anything to do with pre-programming and I don't want to sound like Alex Jones' stepson or anything, but it just feels like the AI algorithm wants to know beforehand if it's fucking with an adult or if it's dealing with a toddler or a kid's brain, so it can then take a different approach on what type of content it's going to suggest in the future. Like a weird, I don't know, just creepy. It's creepy. Oh, they're doing it for the greater good. They're doing it because they want to protect it. Yeah. course, that's why they're doing it. Of course. Of course. Lawyers never lie. Doctors just want what's best for you. A lawyer never lied. Just strange. Strange times. Strange times. Hey, you. Out there all alone, sitting naked by the phone. Can you hear me? Hey, you. With your ear against the wall, when you force someone to call, I need you. Hey, you. It's creepy. Creepy algorithms drinking your children's blood. Creepy Google Tube algorithms starving and thirsting for your children's blood and their deoxyribonucleic acids.